Greetings, my Israelite brothers and sisters, heirs, joint heirs. Great. I'm taking off my Wi-Fi, so hopefully this will work a lot better without going into the little spin mode. I hope to find you all well on 12:30-ish lunchtime.
You have an incoming call.
I know that on lunchtime, a lot of people are doing a lot of different things. So I just said, let me come in and just drop some stuff here. I titled this proud of our Hebrews, just proud. And let me tell you why. I believe that 2019 is going to be a great awareness year. And when I just look at what people are doing, and what people are doing to get the word out, I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of the awareness that people are taking on and stuff like that, and it's great, it's awesome. And to just see that, and I just proud I was just watching. I'm at a red light here, and I just wanted to balance my light. Give me a second here. Okay, and just overall proud. Brothers and sisters, I look at some of these channels that are out there, some of the platforms that people are doing, they're very great. Just getting awareness out there. There's so many of them that I can't name them all, but one of the things that I want to encourage everybody to do, how you doing, Sean? How you doing, Kelly? How you doing? I hope everything's well with everybody. One of the things I want to encourage people to do is when you're looking at these platforms and everything that a lot of people are doing, just make sure that the tone, what I mean by the tone, what are they trying to say? What is their main focus in what they were saying? I was speaking yesterday with Brother Michael Israel from Spiritual Combat, and I was watching his morning show. And he said that he has witnessed that some of the street gangs, not all of them, some of them, when they are out there doing their ministry, they say something to deliberately antagonize a person. And once things get going, then they'll cut on the video. And that's what you see on YouTube. And a lot of them do that for whatever reason. Maybe it gets them, I don't know. But that's what I mean by tone. That's what I mean by tone. So if that seems to be the tone, I would, it's kind of hard to say what tone you're looking for. How you doing, Anita? How you doing, Elder Douglas? How you doing over there in High Point? My brother put on a great Hebrew conference in High Point, North Carolina. We're still being blessed from it and making contact, and people are still reaching out to us from your conference. And so just want to say hello. Daughter of Zion, all the way from Orlando. How you doing, Daughter of Zion? So one of the things I wanted to say to you all, when you watch different YouTube channels, look at the tone, look at the tone, look at the message, look at the underlying message, and make sure that you're getting what you need to do. How you doing, Alpha Teacher? More of us are becoming woke, lies are being exposed. Yes, each and every day that's happening. But what I want to do is, I want to encourage you all. How you doing, Troy? I want to encourage you all that when you look at different channels, including my channel, make sure my channel is really feeding you, okay? Make sure it's feeding you and it's feeding you the right thing. If I'm not feeding you, and I certainly understand if a person says, you know what, I'm not being fed from this channel. I say, okay, fine. But what I do try to feed people with is consistency, and that's the word of the Most High. And I have a open email policy. Some people, I can't say open door, but an open email policy. If there's something that you think that I am not doing or you would like to see more of, you can always shoot me an email. My email is bethelhouseofgod@gmail.com. But it's always my goal that whenever I study from the Word, from the Bible, I use King James Version Bible, I try to come back and give you all what I am receiving from the Word. When I look on some of the channels, I'm very proud of what I'm starting to see in 2019. I'm seeing a lot more positive stuff. I'm a lot more happier that the content and the tone is a lot more productive than what we're used to seeing, where people are not cursing, you're hollering and screaming at people and stuff like that. So I'm starting to see more channels pop up to help anybody with their channel. You can just always send them to me, let me help them out. One thing I found that the brothers that I've come across lately are very positive. I love the brother Michael Israel. I just met him through Ronald Dalton, who I met through Benea Israel. And let me just say, these brothers are very positive, and I like that. I got some dialogue with a brother who's very popular on his channel because he does a lot of debates, and that's Divine Prospect, Brother Divine Prospect. And he reached out to me in one of my feeds when I was doing a YouTube live. He reached out and had told me to check my email. Long story short, we ended up calling each other, and I went to his channel to just see what his content was about. And he's a very, very good teacher, a very, very good teacher. And it just made me proud, because you can see a person debate, but the way he debates is more or less of a dialogue, and everybody they're there just to seek truth. Nobody's trying to make anybody look bad. They just seeking the truth. You present your facts, I'll present mine. It's more of a dialogue than what I see than anything. But I was just so proud just to see this, because number one, we hear about Daughter of Zion, Birth of a Nation. I came across Birth of a Nation, Daughter of Zion, very, very, very enriched fulfillment group. I often listen to them. I like how they gather, and the people, and they're doing their songs and stuff like that. I think it's like on a Sabbath service that they're doing that. And I was listening to them before this cut on. Well, thank you, Sean. I take that as a compliment that you tuned in. I really do. But, when you look at some of the things that you see on the news, gangs and like New York and not New York, Chicago, and the shootings and this and that, and you got various spots across the country where you see these little things happening, but nobody really talks about this stuff. And that's why I wanted to just say, you know what, I'm very proud of what some of these young brothers and sisters are doing. I mean, I'm really proud. And just like you said, the Birth of a Nation ministry, I think they have a 24-hour station, if I'm not wrong on that. But just the work that's being done and how things are being handled. And I will say this, that I'm finding that even a another young brother reached out to me, and he has a large following on YouTube, and he asked me to email him, and I was praying about it, and I said, you know what, let me at first I was saying I'm not going to, because I was looking at some of the content, and then after I went to his channel to look at the videos and the teachings that he was doing, I said, it's not a bad brother. I'm going to reach out to him. You know, I'm going to reach out to him. And so what I do like is when Hebrews can come together, sit down, dialogue. Even if we don't agree, we can do that. Brian Williams, all the way from Sarasota, Florida. How you doing? Brian, I don't know what you got going on over there in Sarasota, but you are only, I believe, a few hour drive from Fort Lauderdale, Hollandale. Drop down and see us sometimes. And let me just say this, because I saw two people from Florida. Don't forget, because it's only a few hours drive for you all. Don't forget the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference is going to be here in Hollandale, the 29th and the 30th of this month. Brother Ron Dalton, Akwiti Amwa from Kingdom of Kings, and B'nai Israel Hidden Hebrews. As you know, Ronald Dalton, the film Hebrews to Negroes. So they're going to be here, and they're going to be here at the end of the month. You got three top researchers and presenters with a lot of good material. Again, that's Ron Dalton is going to be here, Hebrews to Negroes. He's going to be here with his movie. We're going to be showing his movie. He's going to be teaching. And then we got Akwete Amwa, all the way from the King of Kings, Kingdom of Kings, and he's from Africa, but he's here in the States for a minute. He's from the Gad tribe, or the Gad tribe, the tribe of Gad. And we've got B'nai Israel, Hidden Hebrews. So these brothers are going to be here the 29th and the 30th of this month. So don't forget to do that. Definitely plan on attending. Try to get a group together to travel with. Absolutely. Thank you, our daughter of Zion, coming down from Orlando. And so, Brother William, if you're not doing anything, I would say go online, reserve your space, reserve the space. That's going to be very important. If you do know that you are coming, go online to Eventbrite, eventbrite.com. Look under Great Gathering Hebrew Conference and reserve your space. So back to what I was saying, that as I say, I put a pin in that for a second. You know, the fact that we all are not going to agree, because in the midst of doing research, we're not going to see everything that everybody sees. But what's important is that we have dialogue about what we don't see from each other's perspective. How you doing? You doing there, Rodney? Yes, I am coming to Texas. It was a conversation that Brother Divine Prospect and I had. It's in its infinite stages. But when it happens, I believe it's going to be in the month of July. But I'm going to be speaking with Brother Divine Prospect on Friday, Thursday and Friday. We had a good conversation last night, but it was something that he mentioned to me that's in its very infant stages of preparation. So I'm hoping that it materializes to do that. But even if it doesn't this year, it's either going to be Dallas or Houston, one of those cities I'm going to be coming to. So I'll definitely reach out to you, Brother Rodney, because I would love to have the opportunity to meet you in person, because I always really appreciate your support and stuff like that. So, you know, so basically what I was saying is on that, you know, when you don't agree, sit down, reason together. That's what's so important. And right away, that's, you know, that's one thing I liked about Brother Michael from the Spiritual Combat. Um, and you know, when we sit down and talk and dialogue, not everything does everybody agree on. It's almost like, okay, so let's look at what we do agree on, and let's build and continue dialogue, and let these things, other things, to be areas of discussion. I don't say areas that we don't disagree in. I don't like to say that. That's negative. You know, areas that we disagree on, areas that we're having discussions on and open dialogue on. And that's how we should be. Because what I don't want to see is us as Hebrews coming at each other and saying, I'm not going to talk to you, you're not going to talk to me. When I looked at Brother Divine Prospect the other day, he was having a dialogue with the brother, and it was to whether or not, and they, let me roll back. He was having a dialogue with the brother who had a difference of opinion. They both started off by complimenting each other's work and how they respected each other's work and each other's ministry. And so they want that to be clear among the viewers. And so the subject was whether or not you're supposed to have Passover only in Israel, or can you do it anywhere? And of course, Brother Divine Prospect's position was you can do it anywhere, which is what I agree with. And the other brother believed that it should only be done in Jerusalem, And so he gave his scriptures as to why he felt that those feast days can only be kept in Jerusalem. But they were very cordial, very pleasant, and toward each other, and allowed each other to have time and given their viewpoint. I just thought it was wonderful. When I looked at it, and I said, man, that this is dialogue. See, that when we come into the truth, even if you don't agree, have a format to coming together to discuss the areas that need to be discussed. That's simple as that. My brother on Friday nights, he's on Bible study with me, and there was a couple subjects that he and I did not agree on offline. And when he and I have a Bible discussion, we kind of go at it for a minute. We really do. And when we go at it, we are, we bring out the Bible, and we're not going to stop. He's strong-minded, I'm strong-minded. We're not going to stop until we get some resolution. And when we see that it's going a little bit long and we're just hitting the ping pong ball back and forth, we say, okay, listen, let me look into what you said. I'm gonna look into what you said. I'm gonna go look at it. I got your scriptures. I'm gonna go back and look at it. I'm gonna go back and do some reading. Let's touch base again. So a couple of days may go by, and when he's read some stuff, what I've done, he says, hey, are you available? You want to continue this? And I'll say, give me a couple hours. I'm going to go back and reread some stuff. So we kind of do that. And so that's how we kind of roll with that. And then we come together and we say, hey, okay, we'll come to some conclusions. We'll say on this particular subject, here are the bullets that we agree in. And here are areas that need further discussion. It could be only 2 of them, but that's how we roll with it. Susan H., how are you? She says, what about Jersey? So Jersey is still on the table. Jersey for the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference is still on the table. So what happened was on this one here, she says good. So I think you sent me an email, Susan, so we're going to have a lot more further discussion on that. Um, and what I would like to do is, especially when we get these groups, just to come up and just spend an entire Sabbath, whether it's Friday night and all day Sabbath or all day Sabbath. I'm good with either one. I want to get up there and come and do that for Jersey. So we're going to be dialoguing. We're going to be having that conversation. And I hope we're going to be able to do it soon. March. So I like to do it. You know, we will email each other and we'll start working on that because that's what I would like to do. Let me see who else is over here. Rodney Frederick says, hey, let's remember to hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Daughter of Zion, I'd be glad for you all to come down and to have an opportunity to meet you. And Brian from Sarasota, it's not that far, my brother, not that far. So I hope you do that. Now, there's a lot of, one of these days, Spiritual Combat. He has a platform where a lot of these people who have some good sites, it's called the Brews Room, BREW, I believe. Check that out. Go to his site. Look at that because he says he shares a lot of good information. Yeah, the Brew Link. Yeah, go check that out. I've got to update some stuff on there, but we're going to start to things like this. Here we go. Can anybody advise on the best neighborhoods in Broward County for middle income families? No, this is off topic. Well, let me tell you, Rodney, the best neighborhoods, when it comes to Broward County, I would say this, because our congregation is in Broward County, it's you want to get the best price for your home. That's what you want to do. So when you say for middle income families, so let me share this with you. You can look at a home that may be in a distressed situation and it's in a middle income family can afford it with no problem. And it just depends on what you're looking for. If you want to be next to the highway where you can get to places quick, if you want to be next to the airport, that's quite a bit going on. If you were looking for a single family or a townhouse. And I will say this, that houses in Broward are kind of going up. Houses in Broward County are kind of going up. And the reason is because the baby boomers, the tail end of the baby boomers are just retiring or entering into retirement. And when that happens is a lot of them are moving to South Florida. So we started to see a lot of that. Then because of the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico, I can tell you since that hurricane, hundreds of thousands of people have been moving from Puerto Rico to South Florida. In November of 2018, over 200,000 people relocated to South Florida, and they put this on a permanent basis, okay? Because when you're coming from Puerto Rico, coming to the United States, I've been to Puerto Rico. It's a very, very nice island. I love it. It's a very nice area. I love it. I love the style. I love the culture. I love all of that. But what you have when you come to South Florida, you have Puerto Rican communities are what a lot of people gravitate to is Little Havana. Then you have Little Haiti. Little Haiti is kind of dispersing because you have other cities that Haitian Americans have migrated to. The same thing, there's certain areas that it's just a Bahamian area. The restaurants, the food, the culture, all of that, the events. So what people from Puerto Rico have found that there are areas that they can gravitate to and it would still feel like Puerto Rico, but yet they can go outside of those boundaries and get to modern malls, go to any of that stuff. Yeah, those areas are in Miami, but you got to understand Fort Lauderdale is only a 20-minute drive from Miami. So you got people who live in Broward County, but everything they do is in Miami. And you got people who live in Miami, everything they do is in Broward County. Because your malls are like all over the place. You got malls that you can get from a mall in Miami to a mall in Broward County in 20, 30 minutes. And that's like a 20, 30-minute drive is like the norm. Sometimes we'll go up to West Palm Beach to just go hang out because it's just a different area. It's a 35-minute drive. Then they've got this train called forgot that train. There's a train you can get from Fort Lauderdale to a place called City Walk in West Palm Beach, like in 30 minutes. It's like boom, it's like nonstop. It's like fast. I mean, nice train, nice seatings. They serve you food, walking around with appetizers and all like that. So, so with the transportation issue improving here, that's the way it is. People, you know, the mode of transportation other than vehicle is just expounding here in South Florida. How you doing, Daniel? Good afternoon. I'm on my lunch break. So glad that you're with us and glad that you're able to tune in. And so Rodney, I hope that answered your question. Man, it would be good to have you here in South Florida. Yes, the Brew Link. So check out the Brew Link, you all. Check out the Brew Link. Go over there to Spiritual Combat, and they're doing some good stuff over there. Talking about these discussions and these dialogues, because that seems to be the more positive word when you say we're going to have a dialogue. So a young brother who has a pretty good channel, I don't even know what city he's in. It looks like he's maybe someplace in the Midwest, maybe a little bit out west. And he said, "Hey, Pastor, can you send me something? Let's have a dialogue." And it's probably because I'm a little bit different from most of the Hebrew camps. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to use Jesus. I teach in Jesus. I do know that people use the other Hebrew names, which it doesn't bother me when people do that. I know who you're talking about, but just me, when I teach on my channel, when I teach people that on my platform who are the harvest that I go after, that's the best format for me. That's what I do. But I respect what other people do also. It doesn't bother me as long as they understand why I do what I do and I understand why what they do what they do. They're trying to learn Hebrew. Hey, have at it. You know, I just don't know it. English is a hard enough lesson for me. Will you bring camps to discuss the theology like IUIC, GMS, Sakari, etc.? You know, I don't know. I don't know, because let me say this. I've watched some of those camps, and the tone is not the platform that I would be looking for to have dialogue. And that's the issue. I can't say that I would never do it. I would just say the tone and the mission has to be correct. And of course, the mission for me, whenever I dialogue with anybody, is to provide truth and to seek truth. And so that's the purpose of dialogue. When it's not productive like that, then I think I'm wasting my time and I'm wasting their time. If they're adamant about a position, then I just say, hey, I understand your position. I know your position. I know the argument that you're going to debate. I've heard you debate other people who will or have presented the same material that I have. And so it's unproductive. It's just unproductive. So I leave it like that. And when I say I leave it like that, I don't think that it's required to have further dialogue with them at all, because I think that they're going to stand on where they are. Now, if I feel like that I've got some new material or a different angle, yeah, I would consider it. I really would. I really would consider it. And then, of course, the other thing is, some people like to have these discussions in the open. As I said earlier, when my brother and I, Elder Robert Johnson, when he and I don't agree on something, what he will do is he will hit me with it later. That's just what he does. That's just his style. That's his style. Not to say somebody else's style is wrong. But what he does, if there's something he doesn't agree with me on, he picks up that phone and he calls me and said, hey, man, you said something I didn't agree with. And that's totally off base to me. And I say, okay, what is it? And we'll go into some discussion on it. And we'll have a very in-depth discussion on it. We had a discussion on circumcision that he felt like that he wanted to get some understanding on my position. And we had that dialogue. We did it offline, and we're able to do that. Because my brother's one of these people that feels that doing things like that, when two teachers have a discussion, his position is that students, so to speak, should not see that teachers should always present a unified front, and teachers should really present what they have agreed on, and other things that may come up, and just say, those are some areas that that we're looking further into as a unified group of teachers. And I think that's good. How you doing, Laughter? How you doing? Ricky, how you doing? Good day. How you doing, my brother? Ricky, I want to just say, I want to give a hand clap to Ricky, because whenever on Bible study on Friday nights, when something comes up, I want to really appreciate the fact that you can throw out a scripture real quick that I might be looking for, and you go to it real quick. So I just want to say thank you to that for what you do on that. I really appreciate that. And I may not make mention of it at the time, but I want to say I really appreciate it. I think that that's how you have to present it. At least that's my brother's style. Now, I will tell you that in our congregation, we have several elders, and I meet with them. And for instance, I'll share with you what we did for the feast days. So I didn't want to, in times past, because some of them would look at the Jewish calendar as the source to determine the dates of the feast days. That was their credible source. And when I learned how to do it and calculate it over Jerusalem's time, I saw that they were wrong. And I did some research, and I found that there are multiple groups within the Jewish community who keep different dates. They could be a day off. Only one could be correct. So I just said, I'm not going to pick any sides. Sean Henderson says, I don't know. I see the benefits of transparency and a united front. That is though is that slippery slope that goes into Pharisees and Sadducees all clicked up. Yeah, so let me explain that and what I mean by that. So when we had a discussion on feast days, it's usually if the elders are not on the same boat, and if we don't know how to do it, and if we can't come together to reason together before we do it, you'll have the congregation who may not know, they could see it in different different perspectives. And if the elders are not together, then what you'll have a situation where elders are presenting their position, and you got people siding with this person, that person, that person, that person, and then there's no unity. So the Bible has to be correct. The Bible is of no one man's interpretation, meaning that I don't have an interpretation, neither do any of the elders. So what we have to do is come together and say, let's look at this word. Let's get it together. There's 7 of us with 7 brains. Okay, so certainly all of us ought to be able to read these scriptures and come up with the correct answer. Okay, and this is what happened in the book of Acts when the discussion of circumcision came up, when Peter and Paul went to the elders and made a case, and a finding came out of that. So that's the situation that I'm talking about right there. So within a congregation, within a group of people who are together, if they are together, whether it's a congregation or whatever, the elders need to be on the same page. Everybody needs to be teaching the same thing. If there's something that you don't agree with, then what you need to do is come together and say, let's study this. Now, once you start to study it, you might say, okay, so let's take baptism. Let's list all of the things that we agree on in baptism. Okay, now what are the things that we don't agree on? And list those things. Now, once you get all the things that you agree on, you have to say, and what I do with my elders, I say, can we list these as things that need further research, the things that we don't agree on? Yes. Here is this whole litany of things that we do agree on baptism. Can we all agree that we agree with this? Yes. So in our first meeting, we're going to put scriptures to support what we do agree on pertaining to baptism. And I'm just using this as an example. Once we do that, we give it out to everybody to look at. We take 15, 20 minutes. Any other scriptures we need to add to this or add to that? And then somebody say, well, you know, I think this is good, but this is why I feel this way on this side of the fence on things that we need to do further research on. So I'll say as a moderator, okay, we're going to get to that, but are we okay here? Yes. Once we do that, we will put that document, we will put that document, it's everything's in writing, and we will create just a quick group of scriptures that we agree on. Now, the ones that we don't agree on, we'll say if anybody talks or teaches on baptism, these are the things, this is the arena that you stay within. These are the parameters that you stay within. Everything else, let's say, well, you know, that's a very good question. If somebody says, hey, I feel this way, what do you think? And if you're the one that's teaching, you say, that's a very good question. You know, the elders are doing further research on that. So once we complete it, we're going to get back with you on that. But very good question. And that's how we do it, because we want to unify. That's what's important on that. And what we make sure that one can't say is this, well, you know, here's my answer, but I don't know if those other guys, those other elders agree with me on this. We don't do that. We don't play off on each other like that. And that's the rules. That's a part of being an elder at Bethel. We don't play off on stuff like that in the open. We deal with it behind closed doors where it's proper to deal with it. So that's what I meant by, the benefits, that's a point where you can't be transparent. You cannot be transparent. You need to just say, the much of transparency you need to put out there is say, that is an area of discussion. And we're doing some further research on that among the elders. And that's being transparent. But who feels what and who sees what, who agrees and who disagrees, those are things that you don't want members of the congregation to know that are not a part of the teachers or the elders. You never, it's almost like mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy can agree on something when it comes to that particular child, okay, when you're raising that child. But one thing that you don't want to ever do is let the child know that mommy agrees on something and daddy disagrees on something, because the child will play off on that. Trust me, they will play you like a fiddle. So what you have to do as parents, be on a unified front and say, listen, we're not going to do that right now because your father and I or your mother and I are still having that discussion. So we'll let you know. Well, when am I going to be able to do it? We'll let you know. We're still discussing that. When we're ready, we'll let you know. Because again, that child will play you off. And so will members. Members will play you off. If they know one elder believes in one thing or sees something this way or don't quite see it the way, if you got 7 elders and one sees it, one don't see something, and the congregation knows it, man, they'll play off. I'm telling you, they'll play off on you. So this is what you cannot do, because you must be on a unified front. Satan goes and he deals with Eve, not dealing with Adam and Eve, because that's what happens. People will play you off. Ricky says one accord. Sean Henderson says true story. Rodney says sometimes division is simply based on misunderstandings. They're not always deal breakers. We don't have to walk, lock, and step on minor points. Absolutely, Rodney. And I think that's very important to know. Anita Watson says Romans 16 and 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have not learned, and avoid them. And here's the area that I would put that scripture in, Anita, is this. You got, let's say the entire congregation switches over from a first day congregation to becoming a Sabbath feast day keeping congregation. And so everybody switches over, right? I've seen congregations do this, and where they split at is this. So they all come over into the Sabbath, but then you got some that says, wait a minute, I don't mind keeping the Sabbath, but if you want me to keep all of those Jewish holidays, going too far. I'm not going to be keeping all those feast days. Now, I don't have a problem switching over to the Sabbath. So if you're going to do that, because they're not together, once the membership finds out, they'll say, well, listen, I'll come over into the Sabbath, but I'm with you, brother. Why don't you start something over here? And they will play you like that. Then you got to mark them. You got to mark them and say, listen, we don't want you all. You got to deal with that brother or sister real quick. Listen, this is how we're going to handle this. Now, we believe in the feast days. That's what we came up. That's what we agreed to. Now, if you don't see it, we'll give you time to see it. But in the meantime, this is what we do. We're not forcing you to do it, but this is what the church stands on, or the congregation, or the class, whatever you call your group. And if they don't, and if they start that little discord, who's that sister to put up that scripture? Anita. Oh yeah. You got to get rid of that real quick. You got to get rid of that real quick, because what you would have dissension in the camp, and people would just go creep, 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 creep. They'll creep on you real fast, and you got to deal with that. Ronnie Joseph says, right on, my church members and orphans are not happy now. They are suffering from mosquitoes, and they are very poor and needy. Some of them are very old age, widows and handicapped. Okay, I didn't get that. If you like that, you please support some blankets and mosquito nets to them. Ronnie Joseph must have presented something over here. He says, good morning. I hope and pray that you all are doing well there, my brother. Brother, I have a request. Please pray for the Lord's work in India. Okay, Ronnie Joseph, all the way from India. Wow, great. Right now, my church members and orphans are not happy now. They are suffering from mosquitoes, and they are very poor and needy, and some of them are old age. Okay, if you like to please support some blankets, all that, your kind of help be able to cover the by mosquito. If you do some of these, okay, we're looking. Okay. Well, we see you there, Ronnie. We see you there with that request. So listen, so that's my spiel, just to say I'm proud of what we're doing. I'm proud that we're able to have some dialogue. I like the way the brother reached out to me, who sent me that email when I was on Spiritual Combat. He says, hey, can we talk? You know, and that's how Divine Prospect reached out to me. I like that. You know, if I see something that I need clarity on, I don't mind typing and say, hey, brother, you just said it's okay to eat pork. Can you explain this next scripture in verse 5? What the word sanctify? I'll do something like that. Looking forward to your response. Thank you very much. And if they do other good things on their channel, I'll let them know and say, hey, listen, I've enjoyed your other teachings. Thank you very much. Look forward to your response. But when people start coming on and start saying this, and that, and I'll leave this with you, because somebody came on and it was a sister. She says, hey, where's your beard? And I said, okay. I said, can you give me scripture that provides a law that I should wear a beard? And I said, and by the way, don't give me those two scriptures that a lot of the camps use when they don't read all of the verses. And it says you're not supposed to cut your skin, mar the corners of your beard for the dead. They pick up that one scripture, thou shalt not mar the corners of your beard. When you read it above it and keep continuing down, it's talking about when you're mourning the dead. Then there's another book that gives a reference to it. When you go over there and read it, it's a lot more clear. They never use that scripture. They only use that one. And that one, I think it's in the book of Numbers. I don't have it. And they use a whole different scripture to say, whenever you have the dead, do not, when you're mourning from your dead, don't do like the heathen who cut their skin, burn in the fire, or do things dealing with fire and cutting off their beards and shaving their heads. Don't do like the heathen do when you mourn your dead. That's what it was about. That's exactly what it was about. So I don't, if somebody wants to wear a beard, they can wear a beard. Frankly, I can't grow a beard. I can't grow it. It doesn't grow here at all. It just doesn't. So there's nothing I can do about that. Anyway, that's true, Pastor. Brothers should always come together under the Father's principles. Those that are unlawful and want to avoid righteous order according to scriptures, they should be avoided. Yes. It's a really great blessing time for you to talk with you. talk with, yes. Thank you, Brother Ronnie. Thank you for dropping over into this. I hope you subscribe. Thank you all for hitting the like button. I'm at my location. I have to go and do some client work now, and we'll talk soon. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget Friday night Bible study at 8 o'clock. If you want to be a part of that Bible study, don't forget to send me an email at Bethel House of God at Gmail. Bethel, Bethel, then House of God, all one word, at gmail.com. Send that to me if you want to be a part of if you want to receive a notification that our Bible study is about to end. Other than that, you can just subscribe to this channel, hit that bell button so that when we do come on live, you will be notified that way. And that's pretty much it. Thank you, Ricky. Okay, peace and blessings to all.